Quiz time. What is the most abundant element in the Earth's atmosphere? Time's up. If you answered nitrogen, you are correct. Question 2. What was the cause of the largest industrial disaster in American history? If you answered nitrogen again, you would be correct. On an otherwise quiet morning in April 1947, outside of Houston in the small, sleepy port town of Texas City, a small fire broke out in a ship called the Grand Camp. The Grand Camp and a neighboring boat, the High Flyer, were full of ammonium nitrate, chemicals that were left over from World War II, which had ended 2 years before. These explosives had been used for the bombing of Europe and Japan and had helped America win the war. However, once the war was over, the US government decided to repurpose this ammonium nitrate as a type of fertilizer, and it was bound for Europe. Now that the hot war of World War II was at an end, a new Cold War was at the forefront of American policymakers' minds, and the economic insecurity of countries like Germany and France in particular created special concern. Pioneered by George C. Marshall, America's plan in the late 1940s to try to stifle the spread of communism involved doling out supplies and aid to make the capitalist way of life seem like a better alternative to the socialist policies provided by Soviet Russia. America doled out cash, food, and agricultural supplies to try to stop the spread of communism. Ammonium nitrate is a powerful fertilizer, but if it's not handled properly, it can be quite deadly. Germany had learned just how deadly ammonium nitrate could be in 1921 when a plant exploded in Oppau, but America had yet to learn this hard lesson. To try to stop the fire in the Grand Camp, the ship's captain ordered the hold of the ship to be sealed, but what this did was create a pressure cooker that made the ship burn even hotter. Firefighters tried desperately to put out the fire, but quickly the explosion erupted and killed all of them instantly. This massive explosion ignited a nearby boat, but was also full of ammonium nitrate, and the power of the two explosions was so phenomenal that the seismic activity for their blast was felt as far away in Denver, Colorado, hundreds of miles away. These explosions were so powerful that they killed nearly 600 people. One person was carried a mile away from the event and landed and miraculously survived. The whole disaster was made worse by the fact that people who came to investigate the aftershocks of the first blast were blown up by the second boat. It took crews days to put out fires in nearby oil refineries, and it took years for Texas City to rebuild. It might be tempting to gawk at the carnage of the Texas City disaster, which was considerable. It's also worth pausing to think about what this all meant. One possible interpretation of these events is the dual nature of the swords and plowshares approach that American diplomacy took during the years after World War II. On one hand, America's war-making capacity had been drastically expanded during World War II, including all of its new atomic arsenal. On the other hand, using some of the same materials that were used to make war, namely ammonium nitrate, America also promised to provide agricultural aid to countries that were at the greatest risk of communist incursion. In the years since, we have seen other horrifying examples of the use of fertilizer bombs, including Oklahoma City, as well as unintentional disasters such as that in West Texas in 2013 or in the port of Beirut in 2020. Needless to say, in the years since the Texas City disaster, the world has become much more aware of the potentially life-giving and life-taking power of ammonium nitrate.